Dear Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all at the Lámfalussy Award Ceremony Gala. My name is Ben Samohai and I will be the host for tonight's gala. This year, the Magyar Nemzeti Bank, the Central Bank of Hungary, organizes the Lámfalussy Lectures Conference for the 11th time. Our gala will begin with welcoming remarks by Governor Varga, followed by the presentation of the Lámfalussy Award. The evening will then continue with a concert by the internationally renowned pianist Endre Hegedűs, after which we will invite you to join us for the gala reception. I hope you will enjoy this evening program and that you will have a truly memorable evening. First of all, I'm pleased to invite Mr. Mihály Varga, Governor of the Magyar Nemzeti Bank, to deliver his opening remarks.
Thank you. Dear Madam Governor, dear governors, dear Madam Ambassador, dear ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the gala dinner and award ceremony held on the eve of the Lámfalussy Conference here at the headquarters of the National Bank of Hungary. The first conference took place 13 years ago, and we are now holding the 11th edition. So it is fair to say that we have arrived this evening at a well-established event. Of course, returning guests may notice not only the similarities, but also significant differences between the previous and the current circumstances. Probably the most visible difference may well be the person currently addressing you. The main reason for this that the central bank has had new leadership since March last year. I myself have privilege of addressing you for the first time as host of the Lámfalussy Conference. Welcome to Budapest. Ladies and gentlemen, the new leadership took office at the National Bank of Hungary at the time when the global economy is undergoing extraordinary transformations, unprecedented in many respects. In this global economic environment, work focused on what truly matters becomes more important than ever before. The new leadership of the National Bank of Hungary has followed this guiding principle from the very beginning. The essence of the new operating model is focused on the core mandate, streamlined internal operations, and strengthening domestic financial stability. First and foremost, the primary task of the Hungarian Central Bank is to achieve and maintain the price stability. Over the past year, inflation has been brought back within the central bank's tolerance band, and the objective of the National Bank of Hungary remains to anchor inflation, ensuring that the pace of the price increases stabilizes durably within this range. Another result of the monetary policy pursued by the central bank is that the Hungarian currency, the forint, has strengthened against the euro from the previously prevailing level of around 410 to below 360 on a sustained basis. Such a degree of appreciation has not been seen since the change of regime. Lastly, with regard to stability, I would note that the Hungarian economy today has record high foreign exchange and gold reserves. We try to follow the Polish way. So we have therefore launched a number of initiatives across the several areas which, in light of the results achieved so far, we intend to continue pursuing in the future. At a conference named after Alexander Lámfalussy, one of the fathers of the euro, I also consider it important to address Hungary's accession to the euro area. By joining the European Union, Hungary committed itself to adopting the euro. For my part, my position on the euro adoption has remained consistent over the past decade. It is in the fundamental interest of the Hungarian economy to meet the conditions necessary for adopting the euro. The timing of the euro adoption, and prior to that, accession to the ERM2 mechanism, can be considered appropriate when the Hungarian economy is able to maximize the benefits while minimizing the risk associated with the fixed exchange rate regime and the single currency. The decision on the accession will, of course, be taken by the government. For our part, the National Bank of Hungary is and will remain a constructive partner to the government in meeting the Maastricht criteria. Ladies and gentlemen, given that the central banks operate by their very nature in an international context, cooperation within these international spheres is also of fundamental importance. For us here in Europe, the need for international cooperation is made even more urgent by the fact that the crisis currently unfolding in the global economy pose particularly significant challenges for our continent. I am pleased to say that this year's Lámfalussy Conference was organized with the contribution of the new Deputy Governorship for International Relations established last year. Dear guests, one of the pillars of the Lámfalussy Conference is professional work carried out jointly at the international level. However, there is another pillar as well, namely the recognition of professional achievements that are of great significance to us all. The recognition of the outstanding individuals whose work has had a significant long-term impact on the development of Hungarian and international economics, as well as the professional community. This year, the Alexander Lámfalussy Award will be presented to Mr. Adam Glapiński, Governor of the Polish Central Bank. He leads a central bank with which the National Bank of Hungary maintains close relations. I believe that Mr. Adam Glapiński's professional work, about which we will hear more in greater detail shortly, makes a meaningful contribution to the strengthening international, and especially European, financial cooperation, and thereby stability. I congratulate Adam Glapiński on receiving the award and wish him a continued success and many further achievements in his work. Ladies and gentlemen, central banks operate under different monetary policy regimes, and therefore their specific objectives may differ. There is, however, one constant common denominator. The ultimate objective is always to strengthen the security and stability of financial systems. I sincerely hope that international and European solidarity and cooperation can also be strengthened by recognizing those persistent personal achievements, often spanning several decades, that themselves point in this direction. To what has already been said about Alexander Lámfalussy, I would add one important point. His thinking, shaped by the experience of war, was defined by the future of Europe and driven by the idea of creating unity within Europe. I trust that through the award named after him and through the shared recognition of outstanding achievements, we also contribute to the advancing this aspiration. Dear guests, I wish you an enjoyable reminder of tonight's award gala. I wish you pleasant conversations and productive preparation for tomorrow's conference. Enjoy your stay in Budapest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Varga, for your words. And it is now my honor to present the Lámfalussy Award, one of the most prestigious international distinctions in central banking. The award was named after Baron Alexander Lámfalussy, widely regarded as the father of the euro. With this award, the Magyar Nemzeti Bank recognizes individuals of exceptional merit in the banking industry who have demonstrated outstanding expertise, inspirational leadership, and enduring excellence throughout their careers. The award also acknowledges their exceptional lifetime achievements on the international stage, as well as their significant contribution to the work of the MNB and to the international financial system. It is my great honor to introduce the winner of this year's Lámfalussy Award, Mr. Adam Glapiński, Governor of Narodowy Bank Polski, the National Bank of Poland. Professor Adam Glapiński has served as Governor of Narodowy Bank Polski since June 2016, with his second six-year term beginning in 2022. As head of the central bank, he is responsible for Poland's monetary policy and financial stability. His tenure has included managing the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, during which the central bank introduced a range of measures to support liquidity and the broader economy, efforts that were later recognized in numerous media and professional rankings in Poland. Before becoming governor, Mr. Glapiński was a member of the Monetary Policy Council between 2010 and 2016, following his appointment by President Lech Kaczyński as the economic advisor in 2009. Earlier in 2016, he also briefly served on the central bank's management board, completing a gradual transition into the institution's top leadership. Earlier in his career, Professor Adam Glapiński played an active role in economic policy making during the period of Poland's political transformation in the early 1990s. He held ministerial positions related to the economy and international cooperation, and also served as a deputy to the Sejm of the Republic of Poland as a senator. He worked on economic legislation and EU-related matters. Alongside his public service, he has pursued a long academic career. A graduate of the Warsaw School of Economics, he has been affiliated with the institution since the 1970s as a lecturer and later as a professor of economics, specializing in political economy and the history of economic thought. His international teaching experience includes positions in the United States and Western Europe, demonstrating a broader engagement with global economic issues. He is the author of several books and scientific articles. He has won numerous awards for his contribution to the stability and development of the Polish economy. I would like to invite on the stage Governor Glapiński, the Lámfalussy Awardee of 2026, and Governor Varga to present the award. Governor Glapiński. Governor Varga, please take your seat once again. And now it is my pleasure to invite Governor Glapiński to deliver his remarks. Thank you.
I like this place. Budapest, Central Bank in Budapest. First time I was here in 1971, something like that. I was quite new and young guy, full of optimism. I'm still full of optimism, but not so young. Budapest, for me, is maybe the most beautiful city in Europe. From many points of view. It's also not too big. You can spend all time here walking, so it is a very important thing. And a beautiful river, and fantastic people, very brave people. Hungarians, in all their history, were very brave. And it is something really fantastic. Very difficult historic events, very difficult times, and they still exist, they still live, and they still brave. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor and privilege to stand before you today and receive an award that bears the name of Alexander Lámfalussy, the most important and famous name and award in our discipline, central banking. Baron Lámfalussy began his journey right here on Hungarian soil as Sándor, before becoming a global figure, who made an outstanding contribution to the European economy and banking community. Therefore, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to Magyar Nemzeti Bank and Governor Mihály Varga for this extraordinary distinction. I accept this award as a symbol of the close and enduring cooperation between the National Bank of Poland and Magyar Nemzeti Bank over already many, many years. This cooperation has been underpinned by a very long and I hope lasting forever historic friendship between our two nations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me stress that I perceive this award as a recognition of the successful policies of National Bank of Poland and outstanding performance of the Polish economy over the recent years. I have joined National Bank of Poland in 2010 as a Monetary Policy Council member. Since 2016, I have been privileged to serve as a governor. During those 16 years in monetary policy making, we have faced a series of unprecedented shocks, from the European debt crisis and deflationary scares, through the pandemic to the global surge in inflation. It was a hard time. Yet, despite these turbulent times, National Bank of Poland policies proved to be successful, and long-term price stability has been preserved. It is hard to believe that just 4 years ago, inflation in Poland was approaching 20%. However, thanks to the decisive monetary policy tightening, price stability has been restored. For 10 months already, inflation has been consistent with the NBP inflation target. At the same time, Poland's GDP is today 18% higher than before the pandemic. This is a very important figure, 18% higher than before the pandemic. Those 16 turbulent years in monetary policy making allow me to draw 3 main lessons about what makes monetary policy successful. First, let me start with the fundamental principle of central banking, which also prominently featured in Lámfalussy's work. To deliver long-term price stability, monetary policy needs to be independent. Recent years have proved this point again. In response to the global inflation shock, Central Bank of Poland raised interest rates from 0.1 to 6.75, very quickly. This was the most significant monetary policy tightening in the decades, very radical and drastic measures. Unfortunately, the sharp rise in inflation and the necessary steps taken by Central Bank of Poland to restore price stability have been followed by intensified political attacks on the central bank. This is, maybe normal in our circumstances, in our game of different political institutions and economic institutions. But it's not easy to survive. However, it was independence that finally gave us the leverage to resist external pressure from politicians and other lobbying groups, many different groups. My second point relates to European monetary integration, an area where Alexander Lámfalussy made an outstanding contribution. While Lámfalussy was a champion of monetary integration, he was also aware of risks related to abandoning national currencies. Looking back at almost 3 decades of the euro area, I view this risk even more substantial than he did. I thus truly believe that Poland has clearly benefited from retaining its own currency. Recent years proved that point again. With our own currency and autonomous monetary policy, we are able to respond much more earlier and much more stronger than major central banks to the global inflation shocks. At the same time, Polish economy is still converging all the time. Therefore, it is more often needs higher interest rates than the euro area to maintain balanced economic growth and prevent boom-bust cycles. Third, we need to recognize that policy making is subject to trade-offs. While the direction of monetary policy response to demand shocks is usually straightforward, supply-side shocks present a classic policy dilemma. Tightening policy too aggressively may worsen output losses, while overly accommodative monetary conditions may lead to the de-anchoring the inflation expectations, causing inflation to remain higher for longer. Therefore, medium-term orientation and flexibility should be key pillars of policy framework. Medium-term orientation and flexibility. In practice, this means that central banks must occasionally tolerate temporary deviations from the inflation target, provided that long-term price stability is not jeopardized. This is an important lesson, especially today, when we face another supply-side shock related to the war in the Middle East. And to conclude, I very much sympathize with Alexander Lámfalussy's approach, who did not believe in a monetary policy based on mechanical rules. Indeed, in the area of global turbulence, wars and commodity price shocks, it would be often irresponsible to stick to them. Having spent over 50 years in academia, I have a deep appreciation for research and economic theory, of course. However, as a policymaker, also for a long time, I have come to share Alexander Lámfalussy's view that ultimately monetary policy remains more art than science. Let me stop here. Once again, let me extend my deepest gratitude to Magyar Nemzeti Bank and Governor Varga. I wish you all an enjoyable evening tonight and insightful discussion tomorrow on the conferences. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Governor. Congratulations once again on receiving the Lámfalussy Award. As per our traditions, our program continues with a Gála concert. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished performer, Mr. Endre Hegedűs, pianist and music professor, widely recognized for his long-standing presence both on the concert stage and in music education. Mr. Hegedűs began his musical journey early, and his path soon led him to the Liszt Ferenc Academy of Music in Budapest, one of the country's most prestigious musical institutions. There, he studied with leading figures of the Hungarian piano pedagogy, including Zoltán Kocsis, Ferenc Rados, and András Schiff, an environment that strongly shaped his artistic development. Early successes in international piano competitions helped launch his career, with notable achievements in Italy and Australia. Since then, he has built up an extensive concert activity. Over the years, he has performed more than 3,000 times as both a soloist and a chamber musician, appearing regularly across Europe and as well as in Japan, Australia, and North America. His performances have also reached wider audiences through numerous television recordings in Hungary and abroad. His artistic achievements have been recognized with several major Hungarian cultural awards, including the Liszt Ferenc Prize in 2014 and the Kossuth Prize in 2014. Overall, Endre Hegedűs career reflects a balance between performance and pedagogy, with a consistent presence in Hungarian musical life over the past decades. For tonight's musical program, Mr. Hegedűs will perform piano works by three world-renowned composers: the Polish composer Frédéric Chopin and the Hungarian composers Béla Bartók and Ferenc Liszt. He will begin with Chopin's Etude in E major, Opus 10, numero 3, followed by the Revolutionary Etude in C minor, Opus 10, numero 12. He will then perform the third movement of Chopin's Piano Sonata number 3 in B minor, Opus 58. The works of Chopin will be followed by Béla Bartók's Old Hungarian Dance Tunes. Finally, Mr. Hegedűs will crown our evening with Ferenc Liszt's famous piano piece, Liebestraum number 3. Maestro, the stage is yours. Mr. Hegedűs, thank you very much for this wonderful concert. I hope you all enjoyed it. Dear guests, I would like to thank you all for being here with us this evening again. Please let me invite you to the reception outside the hall or upstairs, and I hope you have a memorable evening. Thank you very much again.